Hi everyone, my name is Similua. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be recreating this joggers. If this is something you're interested in, then keep on watching. So I have my fabric already on fold. What I have on fold is 13 inches. So I just added about 2.5 inches to quarter of my hip measurement because this fabric is stretchy. And I also marked my starting line, and I have 0.5 inches above, which would be my joining allowance for my band. Now I'm placing 2 inches of my tape on my starting line because my band is going to be 2 inches, and I'm marking my crotch depth, which is 11 inches. I'm also going to be marking my waist to hip, which is 9 inches. Then my full length for this trouser is 40 inches, which includes the allowance of the band at the bottom. So now I'm going to be ruling my crotch line, making it into a straight line, and also my hip line. The next thing I'm going to be doing is dividing my hip measurement by 4. My hip divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. So I marked 11.25 inches because this fabric is stretchy. I marked the same thing on the hip line and the waistline, and I connected it into a straight line. Now for my crotch extension, I'm just going to be making use of what I have left, which is about 2 inches. Then I'm marking 1 inch above in order to draw my curve, just like that. Now on that center front line, I'm going to be coming in by 0.5 inch. This is just to get rid of any bulk because this fabric is quite thick. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is coming down on my waistline by half of an inch as well. All of this is to remove bulk because, as we know, this joggers fabric tends to be very thick. So all of this is just to get rid of bulk. So I'm coming down by 0.5 inch on my waistline. I'm just going to be slanting it to match up with the other side. Then I'm trimming it out, if you get what I'm saying. Then I'm going to be checking what I have on my crotch line. I'm going to be dividing it by 2. So this will be my mid line. I'll be marking it on my waistline as well, and somewhere around my knee line and at the bottom of the trouser. So I'm going to be connecting these lines together, these points together, to make a straight line. At the bottom of my trouser pattern, I'm going to be using 8 inches for my round ankle measurements. So I'm going to be dividing this 8 inches using that line. So that means I'll have 4 inches on both sides. Sorry, I lost the clip of that. So this is just what I did. I placed 4 inches on both sides of it and I cut it out. You can use 7 inches if you want a more tapered look for your joggers. So I'm just cutting out the rest of my joggers. For the pockets, I'll be coming in on my waist by 2.5 inches, and I'll be coming down by 7 inches. Then I'll be notching both points, and I'll just be making a curve right here to note that this is my pocket part, and we're done with the front piece. For the back, I have about 15.5 inches on fold, and I'm going to be placing my front piece on it, making sure I have a little space on either side and I have space at the top part too. So from the center front line for the front, I'm going to be coming in by 1.5 inches. This will be my center back line. I'm going to be coming up by 1.5 inches as well. Then I'm marking what I have on my waist. I'm going to be marking it on in a slant form for my back waist. So I want it to be the same thing for the front waist and back waist, but for the back it will be slanted. So I have 10.75 and I'm marking the same thing for my back. Now for the crotch extension, I came out by about 1.5 and I'm coming up at that crotch part by 1.5 as well. I'm just going to be using my free hand to mark my curve just like you see it in the video. So this will be the curve for my back piece. Now from my crotch extension for the back, I'm just going to be connecting it straight down to somewhere around my knee line, just try and blend it into the front piece. Then for this other side, I'll be coming out by 0.75 inch, sorry, that's 3/4 of an inch all the way down. You can do 0.5 if you want a more tapered and more fitted joggers. You can do 0.5, but I made use of 0.75. I'll be connecting it to the waistline, and we're done with the back piece. So I'm just going to be cutting it out right now. I'll be using this piece of fabric to cut my pockets because I don't have enough of the joggers fabric. So I have on fold 7 inches, which is on fold. Then the length of it will be about 12 inches. And that's what I'm marking right now. Sorry, my camera did not capture that. So I'll just be marking 12 inches by 7 and 7 on fold, which is actually 12 inches by 14 inches when you open it up. So I'll be cutting 2 of this for both pockets, and I'm going to be bringing in the piece that I cut out from my back crotch. That's from the original joggers fabric, and I'll just be placing 1 for each pocket. So I'll make sure I align the part that is straight with the sides of the pocket, and I'll make sure the right side is facing me, both for the facing and the pocket fabric. So I'll be stitching that facing on the pocket fabric right now, and after stitching I'll show you what it looks like. So this is after stitching it. This is what I have. I'll be doing the same thing for the other side. Then afterwards I'll be bringing in my trouser piece, the front part, in order to attach it to it. So I'll be dealing with the left pocket first to attach it. So this is the left part of my trouser as well. I folded the pocket into 2 first of all, and I notched the center, both the upper part and the lower part. Then the part of the pocket that doesn't have any facing, I'm going to be placing it right sides facing each other with the trouser part. And remember, I already notched my pocket opening, which is 2.5 inches by 7 inches for the pockets. So I'm going to be notching the same thing on my pocket piece now, and then I'm going to be stitching following the curved line that I made. So from the 2.5 inch on the waistline to that 7 inches point, I'm going to be stitching it down. So after stitching, this is what I have, and I'm going to be trimming off what I have, just leaving about 0.5 inch of allowance. Then I top stitched on the pocket piece, and this is what I have, and I'll now go ahead and fold it in and now stitch on my pocket opening. So after doing that, this is what I would have. I'm going to be pinning this down right now, and I'm going to be stitching only on the pocket part. So I'm just trying to notch that part to tell me where I need to stop. I'm going to be stitching only on the pockets, just to join the pockets together and secure it. So I'm just making my chalk marking right there to show me where I need to stitch. I made sure I pinned this down as well so it doesn't shift and I don't make mistakes. After stitching the pocket, this is what I have, and I'm going to be trimming out the excess that I have that I do not need. Then the next thing to do is secure that hand part, that 7 inches part where we notched. And I'm also going to be securing the pocket to the waistline of my trouser piece, and if I have any excess at that top part, I'm going to be trimming it out. So I already done that, and this is what we have for the left part. So I'll do the same thing. This is what it looks like on the inside as well, and I'm going to be overlocking my pocket later on. So I'm going to do the same thing to the right side of my pocket, and this is what the inside looks like. Then the next thing to do is join my front pieces together at the crotch. I'm going to be joining it using about 0.25 inches because that's what I left for my seam allowance. I did the same thing to the back piece as well, and I'm going to be placing the front on the back, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be joining the sides of my pocket with 0.5 inches. That's half an inch. Then I'll do the same thing to the inseam of the trouser, but I made sure I overlocked my crotch seam, because after you join the inseam you might not be able to reach the corners to overlock your crotch. So I overlocked my crotch seam, I joined my sides. Now I'm going to be measuring what I have on the waistline of my joggers, and what I have here is about 48 inches. So I'm going to be cutting my band. My band will be 49 inches by 5 inches. So on fold, that's 24.5 inches. And I'm going to be cutting out 5 inches for my band. Remember, my band is originally 2 inches, but it's going to be on fold plus 1 inch of seam allowance, which makes it a total of 5 inches. And that's exactly what I'm cutting out. Now I'm going to be joining my band using my 1 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to be marking 1 inch upwards, then 0.75 inches, which is going to be the space I would be leaving for my rope opening. So I left the space when I was joining my band together, and this is what it looks like. Then I'll make a top stitch on this seam allowance so that it lays flat, and this is what we have. So when I fold my band, this is what it looks like. You can see the opening for the rope right there. Now I'm measuring my elastic band. I measured about 28 inches. My original waist is 34 inches. So this, I just made sure the band stretches over the elastic band stretches enough to accommodate the band that I cut out. Now I'm going to be placing the band like this, and I'll be stitching on it. Now I'm folding my elastic into 2, and I'm marking that point. I'll be folding it into 4 as well and marking that point. Then I'll be doing the same thing to my band, and I'll now be matching up the points that I folded, that I marked. Do you get? Like, this is just so that the stretch aligns, like one part is not stretched out than the other. So I folded my band into 2 and into 4. I marked it as well. Then I'm now placing the parts that I marked on the elastic and the band, and I'm matching it up together. So this way, when I stretch out the band, the elastic is stretched evenly around the band, if you get what I'm saying. So now go ahead and stitch 0.5 inches on my band, making sure I stretch out my elastic band as well as I can. So I'm just sewing 0.5 inch from the top of my band right here. Afterwards, I'll go ahead and sew about 1 inch below this first stitch that I made. I'll go ahead and stitch it down as well, and I'll show you what it looks like. So try and make sure you don't lose your rope opening while stitching on your band. So that's my rope opening there. I made my second stitch after the opening there, and I made sure that I stretched my elastic as I was sewing along. You have to stretch your elastic as well as your band as you're sewing. I'm done stitching on my elastic waistband right now, and this is what I have. Now I'm going to be joining this band to the waist of my joggers using 0.5 inches, and I'm going to be making sure that my center front matches up with where I have the opening for my rope. So I'm just going to be placing like this, and I'm going to be joining with 1/2 inch, and after joining I'll go ahead and overlock. So this is what I have after joining. Then notice that I made use of 2 inches elastic band for the waist. Now for the ankle part, the bottom part, I'm going to be using this 1 inch elastic. I cut 10 inches and I cut 2 of it for both legs of the trouser. Now I'm going to be joining this 10 inches elastic together, and I'm going to be placing it inside the trouser, the ankle part. So after placing it inside like this, I'm going to be stitching it down, making sure I stretch the elastic as I stitch down. So this is what I have afterwards. I'll go ahead and overlock it, then I'm going to be folding it in like this, making sure I stretch as I sew, and after that, this is what I have. So we're done with our joggers pants. So I went ahead and I inserted my rope. I'm just showing you the insides. I went ahead to overlock everything, every part of the inside, and it looks very neat. I went ahead to insert my rope as well, and it's looking all very beautiful. Please, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.